We have liftoff in T-minus 10 and counting.
We went live 10 seconds ago.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going on about a fluffy puppy movie that is brought to us by my fiance, Tammy. What movie did you bring for us today and have us watch this last week?
Today I brought the movie Fluke, and David will give you a little bit of background on it from IMDb and stuff, and then we'll go into it.
Alrighty. So, Fluke is a movie that was. I do have to change one thing here. I thought it said 98. It is actually from 95.
Yes.
But
That was a year old.
But it was filmed in 1995 by a director by the name of Carlo Carlei, or Carlei, whichever you want to pronounce it.
If it's Italian, I think it's Carlei, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it's probably Carlei. But we definitely have an interesting story here. This is what IMDb says. After a man dies in a car crash, he is reincarnated as a dog and attempts to reconnect with his family. It does have a star Matthew Modine, Nancy Travis, which I believe you and I, Boris, have covered Rose Red, haven't we?
Rose Red.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you were on that episode on Inside Movies Galore.
Yes.
Crow. But
yeah, and we haven't covered, but we need to, is So I Married an Axe Murderer. She was great in that.
Travis, she plays...
And I did Rose Red on the other channel.
Yeah. See, you like Nancy Travis, huh?
But the IMDb doesn't really give that great of an explanation about
No, it doesn't. I mean, there's a lot. There's kind of a twist to it. That honestly, I didn't see coming. Like when he was first saying, I remember what happened. I'm like, wow, I kind of like this Jeff guy, and I'm like, how is he the bad guy? And then I realized, oh, he's not. Like, so yeah, Eric Schultz actually does play a bad guy a lot, and he's very good at it. This time around, he actually wasn't playing the bad guy, so it's like I automatically assumed he was playing the villain. He was playing the bad guy, like when he, so. Yeah, not to spoil it, but yeah, the IMDb does. That's what I don't like about IMDb, man. They don't give justice, or they're often wrong. But unfortunately, Wiki just gives you too much. So we need to have something that's in between Wiki and IMDb.
David, you had mentioned when we were watching it about who had written it.
Oh, yeah. James Herbert actually wrote the book for this. He's an author that he was a veterinarian who wrote animal books back in the day. I hear someone making noise.
And
yeah, I
it's
was
not
doing
me.
it because I was pumping everybody up.
Mr. James Herbert, he did some books that he's well known for, called All Creatures Great and Small, All Things Wise and Wonderful, All Things Bright and Beautiful, the Lord God Made Them All, which is based on the said poem that is out there of that. And those are what he's known for. And I know that they were some older miniseries, and I know that they did a recent a series based on All Creatures Great and Small not too long ago. But I didn't know that this movie was based on a book called Fluke that he had written as well. So,
And who was the actor that's playing Fluke?
the actor that's playing Fluke is
Matthew
Matthew Modine
Modine.
as an adult, and God, there
Uh,
is a child actor that
They never said who the hell
Sam Gafaldi.
played Tom.
Sam Gafaldi plays young Fluke.
sorry, Kroll, what did you say?
I said then they don't mention who the hell played Tom.
I
Yeah, they
think
do.
Yes, they do. It's
No.
Matthew Modine who plays him.
Oh,
Thomas Johnson.
it doesn't say Tom on the IMDb cast.
It
Because
says
it just
he,
says the dog's name.
wait,
it says
IMDb
Thomas T.
Fluke.
Johnson.
IMDb cast. You are probably on IMDb, but the
I
IMDb
am.
says cast. Yeah.
Well, we looked it up and we found out that
Yeah, I looked it up and it didn't
you
say
see
Tom. It said the dog's name, so I was like, well, they didn't say who. Okay.
the same guy
No,
that you
Buddy
see.
was the dog's name. Buddy was the name of the dog that
Fluke is the dog's name.
But
Fluke
the same
is the
guy
name of
that
the dog.
Fluke, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
it
same guy
said
that you
Fluke.
see
It
as a
didn't say
human.
Tom.
Well, the same guy that you see as a human is also the voice of Fluke.
Yeah, it just didn't say the human on the one that I read.
Guy who plays the voice of.
And honestly, I know the name Matthew Modine, but I don't know what he looks like, so I didn't know it was him.
He's the human in the movie.
Right, that's what I was trying to find out, like who played Tom Johnson, and it just said the dog's name, so I didn't know.
Well, anyways, let's go into our first impressions. Why don't we just start with you, Kroll?
Okay. Yes, this is the first time I watched it, and obviously going into it, I was like, "Oh, good, a dog movie." Most people who watch the show know I'm not a fan of dogs. Just I don't get along with them. There are a few exceptions, but yeah. But even I was rooting for the dog, and even both dogs. Well, who's gonna argue with Samuel L. Jackson? Whether he's a dog, a bird, a chimp, a squirrel, or whatever. Samuel L. Jackson is a badass motherfucker. Okay, so yeah, it was a good movie. I was pleasantly surprised. I definitely didn't go into it open minded because sometimes I have opinions and I don't like to change them. but this last year has all been about change for me and opening up my mind to things. So not just movies, but everything in general. So yeah, I was glad I enjoyed it. I don't like sitting there watching a movie, no matter how long it is, and not enjoying myself. So I'm glad I enjoyed it. I'm glad that. I guess it didn't really have a happy ending, but it had a okay ending. It had a decent ending. It
It's
wasn't
a
a sad ending.
tearjerker ending.
It wasn't a sad ending. I don't think it was a sad. I don't think it was a tearjerker, but I don't think it was sad necessarily. I just think it was it was sufficient. I mean,
It's a different take because you're hearing it narrated through the dog too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
and
it's
like I
not
said,
just your normal dog. Here's a dog movie. Here's a dog. Here's a dog.
yeah, and it was definitely like I said. There's a twist in it. How you think who the villain is the whole time, and then there's a twist. So I like that. Twists are always good, and family movies don't usually have a twist like that. And this is definitely a family movie. So yeah, it was good. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I enjoyed it, and thank you for recommending it. And I thought at first it was I'm like, this feels like an 80s movie because it does. It definitely feels like something that would have been made in the 80s. So when they made it, they probably were thinking of that. Of course, the actors would have been younger. Man, Ron Perlman looks so young in this one. So young in this movie. Like I almost didn't recognize him. I'm like, I mean, I recognized him. I mean, I knew who he was, but I'm just like, wow, just looks so. I mean, that face is always the same, but he's just very young.
A lot of people don't remember that Ron Perlman played the Beast in the Beauty and the Beast series from the early
1990s.
yeah, he played Vincent.
Yeah, I know.
And when they redid it, I liked that one,
Oh, I loved it.
um,
I
He
love
looks
Preston
he
Cook.
looks very old in this one though, and very mean.
Old.
He looks old and mean in this movie.
He looks young and mean in this one.
Oh,
I'm used to seeing him in Sons of Anarchy and things like that, where he definitely looks older. So,
okay. Is that it?
but he was definitely mean. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good. Thank you.
All right, Boris.
This was surprisingly not the first time I watched this movie, although this is my second time. The first time was many years ago, so I didn't remember it in detail, but I did remember the basics of it. The movie is good, but I have to say, to my personal tastes, it's a little bit too depressing. Although I can see why it ended the way it did. In a way, it would probably be impossible for it to end very differently. But yeah, I personally don't usually go for movies with such a depressing story, but it's still well done. Can't complain about that. And the twist is really good. Although I had forgotten what exactly the twist was, but I did remember Jeff was going to turn out to be a good guy, but I had forgotten what the whole story about him and Tom was. Um so yeah, I'm glad I refreshed my memory on this one.
Okay. Was that it?
I think so.
All right, David.
well, this is definitely not my first time. I actually had this movie on VHS, and I I do not have a hate of dogs as some people in this room, but uh,
Me.
uh, in fact,
Yes,
I
most people
I
love the
think
mangy
it's
mutts.
I think it's a little weird, but to each their own. Um, Normally, a dog is man's best friend.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love cats because cats are awesome. Cats rule, dogs rule.
but
I
of
remember that
of
quote.
dog movies, this is one of those that makes me even cry. Um, yeah, especially well, not bawling, but it is a tearjerker. I have no problems saying that tears fall at certain points in this movie. And
I
it's
ain't
meant
having tears falling.
and if you don't cry at least once or shed one tear, then you are not human in
I
this
must
movie.
not be fucking human then, because I mean, it tugged the heartstrings, but I didn't shed any tears.
Well, then
Well, at least it tugged at your heartstrings. Then you are human.
Thank you.
um, and
Maybe.
that to me is a good thing because then at least it shows that you're mildly human. But in any
So
case,
you're saying you don't like Martians now? So you're racist against Martians?
I didn't say that. Um,
Well, you're saying it's a good thing I'm human, so you know.
well, I do have the movie Mars Attacks. Does that count?
Well, though that's not a good
Oh my!
representation of us Martians, you know.
I
Oh
also have the Martian
my!
Chronicles. And I have
Those
and
radical fanaticals of us Martians.
And I have Santa Claus versus the Martians. So
Yeah, like I
Okay.
said,
Anything else?
those are radical.
Anything else about the movie, dear?
um I enjoy this movie, and it's kind of it's kind of like the first movie that ever did the reincarnation thing, because there
No,
were later movies that kind of did something similar.
there's
Uh,
been a bunch in the '80s, dude. That's why I said I felt like an '80s
well,
movie.
there was there were some recent ones that were done with Dennis Quaid,
Haven't seen
where
it.
A Dog's Purpose and its sequels. Those kind of did the reincarnation thing. I do believe that reincarnation is something that was played around with in movies. It's like um, but it hasn't always been done in the form of animals. And I like the way that they did this one. And like Crow said, it had a nice twist in it, so I enjoyed that part aspect of it. So
Yeah, definitely. It was weird because these type of movies don't usually have twists. It's just, which is cool because you totally don't expect it. You expect these movies to be pretty straightforward, you know, and to have a nice little twist in there was really cool. It set it apart from other family type tearjerker movies. Um, yeah, I mean, I was watching. I didn't think of it as a tearjerker. What you guys saying? I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can see how you guys can call it that. Um, you know, my emotions. I used to be the type of person to cry at certain movies like Ghost and things, and um, but after I had my stroke, like my emotions changed. Like I still have the emotions. It's just I don't have the tears that much. Like I just don't. I mean, sometimes they come, but they come a lot less than they used to. It's weird. It's kind of weird.
I Actually, I somewhat understand that since you guys may know that I had a certain hormonal imbalance throughout a major part of my life, my whole adolescence and beyond. And when I became aware of it and took some medical examinations and so on and got some therapy for that and all that, since I started to take that therapy, my capability of crying has also been severely reduced compared to how it was earlier. So,
Well,
uh,
mine
uh,
wasn't through the therapy. It was just from the stroke. It's like, I mean,
uh,
my mom's funeral. Well, they didn't call it a funeral, but I didn't even cry there, and I was very close to my mom, and it hurt me very bad, but still, it was just it was it was very weird.
I,
I mean,
I, well, I understand it. I guess it doesn't really make that much of a difference whether it happened as a result of a health condition or a therapy or something. But I guess your biochemistry has
right.
changed, and
Well,
that's it.
the only difference is you chose to go to therapy. I didn't choose a stroke. So mine just kind of hit me like
Uh, Actually, in this case, I'm not talking about psychotherapy. I'm talking about medical therapy. But yeah,
it doesn't matter what kind of therapy it is, it's still chosen. It's still not something that's forced upon you. It's not something that just happened. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
yeah,
I'm not saying
yeah.
it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a little bit different that like mine just poof, it was there. I had no choice on it at all. No say, no warning, nothing. It was just boom, all of a sudden I'm different.
Makes sense.
and some people
Okay.
make the mistake that a stroke is like a brain's something dealing with your brain, and
It,
it's not.
it, it, yes, it is. It
It
Oh,
is.
literally burns your brain
it is
cells.
What do you think Don changed?
It
true.
literally changes your brain cells.
But anyways, is that all, David?
That is pretty much it. I enjoy it, even though it brings me to tears. But I think because it does bring me to tears, I don't gravitate towards it as much as uh, I'd like. You know. And I'll admit there's one other dog movie that brings me to that point.
Old Yeller.
No, it would
That
be
one actually brought me to tears. Well, I was a kid when I watched it, but still.
Uh,
Homeward Bound.
Really?
oh, I love. Oh my, that's my childhood.
Homeward Bound was another a tearjerker for me
I
when
was.
that
But
dog went into that train area and fell down that pit.
I was rooting for the
The first
pit.
time I watched that I was bawling my tears out.
I was rooting for the pit. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
kidding.
but
Just kidding.
at least that one has a happy ending.
Well, yes and yes and no. Yes, both of the I believe the second one didn't bring much tears as the first one did, but
As Mo says, not every movie needs to have a happy ending.
correct.
Okay. Well, this is definitely not my first time. My mom is the one that turned me on to this. She was very insistent that I saw it, and I did. And after seeing it, it made me think because my Sassy, my kitty cat that passed away actually yesterday was a year she's been gone. I used to,
Already?
yeah, time
What the?
flies.
Oh,
But I used to look in her eyes and feel like when I looked in her eyes that there was something else there, something behind those eyes. And I never felt that way with any other animal. And I love the two that we got now, but I still don't get that same feeling that I did when I looked in her eyes, like there was something behind them. And after this watching this movie, it even made me think more that there was something else behind those eyes. And and like somebody was behind him and maybe watching over me or whatever through her. You know,
who?
my great grandmother and I were very very close, and I always was thinking that it was maybe her watching over me through Sassy. You know, but so this movie really touched a special spot in me even before Sassy passed away. But
Oh,
um and I know Sassy was a cat and this is about a dog, but it's the idea that I always felt that there was a possibility of maybe what was going on in this movie was for real, you know.
well,
Um, I really when I just love I do love how the story was told, and I can see why my mother liked this movie as much as she did too, because she always I grew up with dogs. She always had dogs, and um she always was close with the animals, so I can see why she liked this one and wanted me to see it. So, and I don't get sick of watching it. It just, there's so many, as we get into it, there's so many cute, nice, heartfelt aspects, you know, in this movie. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Rise and shine, squabs. Let's get into the main.
Club.
It's almost like a Disney movie, but not.
Yeah, like older Disney movie nowadays, they wouldn't make something like this, I imagine.
Well, when I say Disney
I'm
movies,
sure if
I
Disney
mean
could have
real
gotten a
Disney
hold of
movies,
this,
not
they
what they
would
make
have.
these days.
Yeah.
I'm sure if Disney could have gotten their hands on this thing, they probably would have.
Yeah,
But
fact.
anyways, um, the movie starts out. You see a litter of pups, and they're just born. You see them start growing up. Dog catcher comes,
Well,
takes everybody away, and
uh,
while they're
first,
while they're growing up, you're
first,
hearing
first,
you're
first, you
The
see
car
glimpses of
accident.
a car accident,
Yeah, he's
and
telling a story.
you see the start of the story where apparently he's trying to catch up with another man, and he
Yeah.
flies off the road, and that's when you see him with a bunch of cute little puppies.
Now, when he called him a murderer as a dog, I was like, well, it was kind of his own fault that he died. Still thinking that Jeff was the bad guy, but I didn't. I was like, well, he did. He was the one driving on the wrong side of the road. He was the one that was being stupid, you know. So
but we don't really catch that till later on,
no,
anyways.
and I caught it right in the beginning that right in the beginning he was driving on the wrong side of the road, and then he like waited till the last minute to swerve and got himself killed. So you know,
But anyways, yeah, you see that beginning, and you see that, then it goes right to the pups. So at first you don't get what's really going on, how to go from that to that, but um then you see the shelter, and everybody's getting adopted and stuff, and then they were going to put this poor little pup down. I could never be the one at a shelter that was going to put these animals down,
Of
especially
course.
animals that there was nothing wrong with.
man,
You
Right?
know,
I was actually like when they said they'll put him to sleep tomorrow. I'm like, what the hell did they do? Did he do? Like I was like I said, I don't care for dogs, but that doesn't mean I want dogs to be killed. Or I mean, I pretend sometimes, but it's not real. I really do care. I don't want them just put to sleep for no reason or whatever. It's just it's
R-
sad. And I was just like,
yeah.
he's just a puppy. Like what the hell? That's just horrible. So not to interrupt you,
Uh,
sorry, but I just had to say
that
that.
should be illegal if you ask me.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I mean, I understand. Like, I unfortunately had to put Sass down, but that
There was a reason for that.
Yeah.
right,
It wasn't because it was just because it was a puppy that was,
not
you know,
adopted.
yeah, exactly. It was just, I mean, it was just a stray puppy. I mean,
I could never be the one that, especially that could put these animals down that for no reason other than.
I honestly think that we should actually ban kill shelters.
Yeah, I agree.
well, the thing is, unfortunately, it's just like, I mean, if they're like old and they don't have anywhere, they're out in the and they're hurt, like they can't like live on their own and they don't have anyone, then it might be more humane to put them down when they're older. You know what I'm saying?
In
I don't know.
that case, maybe yeah, but not when it's a perfectly healthy animal.
Oh, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I mean, I do love animals. I'm not really a dog fan, but that doesn't
All
mean.
of our all of the two kits that I had before the two that we have now, I adopted from places that were no kill. So,
Wow.
but anyways, the little guy does the great escape, which is so. I think it is so cute. Yeah, he's just this little fluff ball, and he does the great escape.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I just hoped.
that
Uh,
was awesome when the guard catches him and he pisses into his face. I'm like, yes.
oh yeah, I just hoped he was somehow going to release all those other animals before he
me,
goes.
me too. Me too. I was thinking that. Too. And when he was at the other dog's kennel and um I was like, is he gonna find a way to release him? And then he started taking off. I'm like, oh, guess not. Too bad. So
But then he was lucky enough to run into that little lady, that homeless lady,
yeah.
and she took she took the best care of him as she could, and then we realized how he got his name because she plays this little game with him, about find the little pebble underneath um the shells, and it works
Nutshells.
out good for her, and because people get amused by it and they leave her money, which helps take care of her and the pup. And this guy made a comment and says it's just a fluke, and she said, well, he's my little Fluke, and that's where we get the name Fluke. And
Yeah.
but the whole time that the little pup is with her, she's got a ring on her finger, and he keeps looking at it, and he's starting to have bits and pieces of memory, and we're seeing bits and pieces of humans and the human memory, and he's not putting it all together yet. He's just getting bits and pieces and doesn't understand it yet. um and then we get to the point where, unfortunately, the lady passes away, and
I'm gonna go to
we
sleep now.
yep, we get introduced to Rambo, and that is played by Samuel L. Jackson, and he comes across the pup and takes the pup under his wing, and um, they have a lot of um, they have a lot of great adventures together, between taking the pies out of the out of that van, and that poor guy flying all over the place trying to catch them and making a total mess of the van. Um,
Pudow!
oh yes, that was definitely a spoot out. That poor guy just if he thought he had a mess from what the dogs did, he made it more. Um,
Oh yeah.
and he takes them on his rounds, and it's that's where we're starting to see that um when he takes them to get the at the market place, and um
They
he gets
made up
fed
with Bert.
he gets fed by Bert, I
Bert.
believe is yes.
Yep.
And
His brother.
they're looking at that picture behind the counter, and Fluke is starting to look at the picture and looking at Rambo, and then he's afterwards and stuff, he's trying to ask him, were you always a dog? Were you always a dog? And he goes, what do you mean? Of course I was always a dog. And he's like, but I see pictures in my head. And he's, don't listen to those pictures in your head. They're just pictures. So what do you guys
He,
think? Are you starting to see that there's things going on like this by this part?
He keeps being drawn back to his previous life.
uh, yeah, I could hardly be objective about that since I already knew the answer since I watched the movie before. But from the time when I did see it before, I no longer remember what I was thinking during those flashback moments before it was all made clear. But yeah, this time it was all clear to me when I knew what it was about.
I like when he takes them back to the junkyard, and I like when he's in the convertible, and he makes the convertible, the top go down, and he's in the convertible and everything, and the different thing, and he starts to remember more and more, and by looking at the license plate, the things turn around and stuff, so he gets a phone number, and a lot, by this time you're seeing a lot more pictures, a lot, he's remembering it turns out to be his wife and his son, and um Jeffrey, which ends up being his partner in life, his a business partner. But it's it's all starting to come together as his past life, but he
Hmm.
doesn't he still isn't understanding all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and when we get to the part where he actually calls his wife on the phone,
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
yeah, I thought that was cute. It's like, you called here, lady. Well, no, you called me. Well, the only one other one in here was Fluke, and he couldn't have called you because he's a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, while they're in the market, that's when we get an unsavory character played by
Ron
uh,
Perlman.
yep, and he gets bit by Rumbo.
No, he steps on Rambo's tail, and Fluke bites him.
No, Fluke does not bite him. It's Rumbo.
Yes, he
Fluke
does.
bites him.
Fluke is the one that bites him.
Huh.
Okay, well, I saw that it was Rumbo that bit him, but he was saying that Fluke was had bit him.
No, it was Fluke.
No, Fluke
Okay.
did it.
I'll have to rewind that just to see because I always thought it was Rumbo.
No, Fluke was trying to protect Rombo.
Yeah, because he stepped on Rambo's tail, and it seemed like on purpose too.
It was.
Yeah, because he stepped on it and he made a comment of like, "Oh, sorry" or something like that, but
But the way he
sarcastically.
said it was like, not sorry type shit.
Yeah.
Because Fluke had said before he stepped on his tail that he didn't like something about him. He had told
Uh,
Rombo that something just didn't seem right about
He
him.
said, can't you
uh,
smell that? Something not isn't right about him.
I have to say, if there is one thing I think is really wrong with this movie, is that that guy got away with what he did.
How you know?
We didn't see him receiving
Right, we
any
didn't see it,
punishment.
but karma always happens, man.
Okay, maybe.
I choose to believe that karma got him.
When he's the one who brought the cops that shot Rumbo to begin with.
He
And that,
shot Rumbo.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, he
the
did.
security guard said, "I can't shoot the dog," and he grabs the gun and shoots Rumbo. Only we don't realize he shoots Rumbo yet until
Yeah.
the scene where he says he's gonna go to sleep. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna die too. So he said that, I was like, I knew that, because I was like, wow, they weren't shot, and then you find out that he was shot. It's like, oh shit.
So a little bit before him and Rumbo, Fluke and Rumbo were having a argument with each other that he had to go and see his family or what, and he's telling him, I can't follow you and protect you. If you go do this, kid, if you go do this, you got to do it on your own. And then he went off
Don't come back
a
here.
direction, and he got captured and put in the science institute thingy. What did y'all think about that science or with all the
Experimentation.
animals?
I think they were. I'm not sure if it was science or if they were. I think they were testing cosmetic
They
products
were.
on him.
Well, they were using science to do that. I mean, science can be good and bad. It depends on the person. So
Okay, yeah, true.
it was science. It was bad science. So, they were experimenting on the animals, dogs and monkeys and mice. I mean, everyone hears about mice, which I don't know how people feel about that, but yeah, I know people definitely don't like the fact that they do it on dogs and chimpanzees and I did see a couple cats in the movie, so there was a cat there too.
I don't like it being done on mice either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm maybe things that might help humankind and animals alike. Yes, but things like cosmetics, where it's just you know there's no need for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Agreed.
I agree.
Now, if they use rats, I wouldn't mind because rats are disgusting and they can all perish.
I
Uh,
wouldn't do that to them either if I don't have to.
I like rats, but anyways,
Hey, my initials is a rat, so
I I
still want them.
I like rats that you can actually buy at the pet store, not rats that you find in your house.
Well, I'm talking about the rats you find in other people's houses because if it's in my house, I'm moving. It can happen.
I don't like rats even after working with them at the pet store. I had one that bit me when I was working at the pet store also, and so I don't I just don't care for I'm not gonna be I'm not a squeamish girl that goes, oh my god, it's a rat. No, I just don't care for them.
No, you're a squeamish girl. Oh my God, it's a spider.
Shut up.
I'm not a girl, but goddamn, I don't like spiders either.
Well, okay, I shouldn't really be
If there is
laughing.
a spider that drops down beside her, she sits there and points at it and yells at the top of her lungs, "Spider! Spider! Spider! Spider!" And
I
I
would have
have to
gotten up
come
and
running
moved.
because she won't kill
I would have gotten up and moved.
it.
I would. I don't kill it either. I mean, just let it outside.
She won't even do that.
Uh,
Now, daddy long legs, I don't mind them.
But anyways, what do you think about Rumbo crashing into the place and
That was
letting
bad.
all the animals out?
Wow!
Spud out, indeed.
That's when you
I,
know even more that Rambo was a human because Rambo read what it said above that button, and he knew what that said to hit that emergency button.
Yeah.
He also knew what that said to open the thing to release Fluke.
Yep.
He knew what those words were.
Yep.
If you know, and if he wasn't a human at one time, he wouldn't have known what those words were and what to do.
That's
oh,
funny.
good
I'm thinking
point.
in the
And then of
beginning was
course,
when the Chinese guy was feeding them and he's talking, and I'm thinking, the dogs probably don't understand what he's saying, and I'm thinking, well, dogs probably don't understand English either, Ron. And I'm like, yeah, so kind of had that thoughts in my head, like while I was watching it. It was kind of funny because like somehow we think that, or at least some people think that the dogs can understand us when we're talking to them. Um, but they probably don't. They just understand. Hey, you got food. You're human, and you bring us food. So like they
believe it
understand
or
basic
not,
things. But
Well, it's a matter of training. Like, okay, Diego is a cat, okay, but Diego can
well, cats are
be
smart.
he could be in another room and I can call him and he
for
knows
30
that his
seconds, and then their attention span goes away.
No,
he knows
no,
that
no.
his
See,
name is Diego though. I can
see,
call him
cats. You could
and
you
he'll
could not
come.
even call them, and most cats will run like will hear you opening the can or whatever if you have cans
Yeah,
or
and they'll
picking the
come
box
exactly.
and
But
cats.
Every
I mean,
time
Diego
I
not
open
every cat is
anything,
smart, but in general, cats are smart.
but Diego, like I said, it's a matter whether it's a cat or a dog, it's a matter of training and what they get used to and what they pick up on and stuff. Like I said, not 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 all cats, not all dogs or whatever will pick up on stuff. But like I said, Diego could be in another room and I can call for him and he will actually come because he knows his name is Diego. You
if
know,
if a dog or a cat cannot understand the human language, then that's when you call them either a mutt or something like that, because that's to me. If a dog can't stand or obey you, then that is a dumb dog. uh,
They all.
honestly, there are some very smart dogs out there,
Yeah, they were
that,
just trained right.
and some very smart
They had smart humans
cats out
training
there
them.
too. But cats, I've heard, are almost untrainable.
Because they're smart.
Almost.
Most of them, most cats are untrainable because but cats want to do whatever they want to do when they want to do it. They don't really care what you think or what you feel about it. Because
Exactly. You're there to serve them and bring their food and be their slaves. They're the masters.
where a
I
dog is kind of like dogs basically in a way lived. Dogs basically live to
Live to
Sir,
serve.
to make people happy.
Yep.
They live.
yeah.
They
what are you
live
doing,
in the.
Master? Hey! Can I have what you're having, Master? Yes.
Uh, I once
That's like, give me
saw.
that goddamn food.
I think
Uh, uh,
dogs are basically there to do whatever they can to make people happy. Okay, where a cat is basically he'll try and make you happy, but he's first.
Uh, yeah, that reminds me of one really hilarious meme I saw a while ago. It shows a cat and a dog who have just gotten to heaven, and they appear before God, and God asks the dog, "Were you a good pet?" And the dog says something like, "Okay, I don't know exactly, but basically." The dog says, "Yes, I was a good pet." Then God asks the cat, "Were you a good pet?" And the cat says, "You are sitting on my chair."
I think that's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
I like that one.
But I think for the most part, dogs' purpose is to make our lives happy, and they live for making us happy. Where a cat doesn't really care if it makes you happy as long as he's happy first.
Yeah, yet we
So
still like them somehow.
that's why it's very hard to train a cat because they don't care.
They have their own mind.
Well,
No,
you want
they
me
just have.
you want me to sit? Really? Why should I sit? Because you told me to sit? No, I'm not going to sit because you told me to sit.
You're
I'll
gonna
sit
shut
because I
I'll
up,
want
sit
to
because
TC,
sit.
I want
whether I
to.
sit or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Where a dog, you teach him to sit. Oh, he wants me to sit. Oh, he's going to give me a treat because I sit. Okay, now I'll learn how to sit. Now, whenever he says sit, I'll sit, because he wants me to. You know, totally different mental thing, between the two animals.
Yeah.
But well, as far as when the animals were at that facility, one of the parts I liked the best about that was the little chimpanzee that rescued the little pup, and
Oh,
that was the cutest when he rescued the little pup and brought him out.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was adorable.
That was adorbs.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
of course, we get the first tearjerker a moment where we find out Rumbo gets shot, and we have to say goodbye to him.
I don't know
Uh,
about that. When the homeless lady died was kind of. I mean, I didn't crack a tear, but that was very sad.
that was
Yeah.
sad.
Oh yeah.
But when Rambo passes away, though, before he does, he tells Fluke the truth that he did used to be a human, and so now Fluke realizes that he's not alone because Rambo comes clean.
Yep. And then I believe he then from there goes and tracks down his son, and then makes an appearance alongside their car, and then follows them home. What do y'all think about that moment?
Well, I was a little surprised that the mother was not much against the dog at the very beginning.
Yeah, she was.
Well, how would you feel if this dog all of a sudden was bam right there? Would you automatically think it was a nice, sweet
I know
dog?
I wouldn't have.
Okay, okay, maybe I'm
As a
not
matter of
sure.
fact, at the house, I was like, I agree with the mother. Like, I mean, watching the movie, I know the dog, who the dog really is. So it's like you want them, but the mother doesn't know. So I would have been in the shoes of the mother, like, we ain't letting that dog in. You're like, it's
So why Kroll do you not like dogs so much? Uh, what was the first moment that made you dislike them?
when a rabid dog attacked my friend, and I had to pick it up and throw it when I was 10.
And any time beyond that?
Just they always just remind me of that moment, and like the bigger dogs just kind of always just looked at me like they were afraid of me. I guess they just had that look. It's like that dog told other dogs like what happened, like that's how it felt. And then like sometimes bigger dogs are all right. They just kind of jump up on you, and they're big, so it can be off putting. But little dogs are annoying because they fucking won't shut the fuck up. Like they just yap 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 bark 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 all the fucking time. And like you just feel like
Are
shit.
you
I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to because I don't believe in animal cruelty, but it's like, God damn, shut up! Like that's all they do. Is, you know, I mean, cats when they're in heat will be really annoying too, but that's only when they're in heat usually. Other than that, they're not. But the dogs are yap 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 yap. And the smaller they are, the more noisier they are. And that's what those little tiny dogs. I'm like, they're not dogs. They're just fucking annoying fucking rodents with fur.
So let's see.
But
I know
Snoopy's
that
badass.
I've grown up around dogs my entire life,
My
and I've
condolences.
only seen one dog bite one well, I didn't see him bite the person that I know, but um, unfortunately, after a lot of the dogs that I knew, my grandmother mother owned. So my grandma Grace, she had two Shih Tzus. Um, one was named Pi and one was named Tashi, and yes, they barked at times, but they were cute. Um, it wasn't like they were the stupid ones like the Yakira Taco Bells, um
The Carol
which
Taco Bell's a cool dog.
well, Yakira Taco Bell is a cool dog, but
But any other Chihuahua sucks.
any other Chihuahua sucks balls
Yes.
because they're a
They're
bunch of little
loud,
yits.
obnoxious, tiny little dogs that you want to punt out the window.
I agree. Anything that you can
Or off the
drop
roof.
kick over the back of your fence is not considered a dog to me.
Except for little Rosita.
Like I said,
Rosita isn't.
they're a rodent with fur.
She's cute. Rosita, I think she's Chihuahua mixed.
No, she's a mini pug.
She's a mini pug. Okay, she's a mini
Oh,
pug.
I don't know what a Rosita is, but
Oh, it's the name of her boss's or her manager's dog that comes with her
oh.
every little time. And it's a miniature pug, and
Uh,
it's like this tiny thing, and all it does is it licks you and jumps all over you, and
oh.
it's cute.
And she's just the cutest little chunk. I mean, you pick her
And
up
Oh.
and she's a
you can
solid
hear
little
her,
chunk.
you can hear her snorting all and when she's up on you, she's like giving you kisses and all that jazz, and that I can stand. It's the
I,
yipping that I cannot.
Right.
I'd love to.
My grandmother had poodles. little toy poodles, and
Oh
boy, did them
God.
little suckers like to yep, 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 yep.
And
And I
af-
grew up with a German Shepherd, so I grew up with
That's a
German
real dog.
Shepherds.
and
German
after
Shepherds
Pie
did
and
not go yip, 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 yip.
and after Pie and Tashi, we lived in a duplex. So
Golden retrievers are cool dogs too.
my grandma had gotten a puppy at the time that she was a girl, and she was a German Shepherd Rottweiler mix, a mix
Ooh.
a lab, and she was so scared of my dad that she peed in the basement. But she was the cute, she was the prettiest dog you could ever see, and she ended up being quite a large dog, and she was the nicest dog you could ever
Oh.
have. And then my
I re-
mom, and then she got a Rottweiler. She called him Macho, and he would back his butt up on your knee and sit on it. But 5 years later, my cousin from Colorado, Tara, came over, and on the last day before she was to leave, she leaned down and said, "Oh, he's being nice," and he went and tore her face halfway off.
Oh.
And I blame my cousin for that one because she should have never like gotten in his face like that, you know. But we had to put him down, and that was a sad moment because we had to take him to the Humane Society and all that jazz. And I was relatively younger too, so
No.
he kind of meant a lot to me while he was living
Well.
there. But we growing up had a schnauzer named Brandy. And I remember one time he was not supposed uh, do this, but we came back from church and we found him. He had pushed the chair up to our marble kitchen table in our duplex, and he was standing on top of the table. And he had the saddest looking face when he came out, and my mom was like, "Brandy, get down."
he was afraid to get out.
Yeah, he was afraid to get down.
The only thing
But
with the German Shepherds growing up is I was no longer living there then, but the mom's second German Shepherd, the German Shepherds always knew their lot line and always knew their my mom had trained them well, that they knew that this was their property, and protective. And my cousins came to work on the garage, and Bronson was the name of this one. He had never met my cousins yet, and my mom wasn't outside. And my cousins started walking up the driveway, and Bronson was outside and didn't know who they were, and he chased them off the property. And I guess he bit my not enough just to scratch the chin, but bit my cousin right in his butt. Chased him chased him right off the property. And my cousin wasn't upset or nothing because, he realized that Bronson was just protecting the house, protecting the property, because that's what he was trained to do. And then when my mom came out and she brought my cousins onto the property, then Bronson was just fine with them. But he didn't know who they were when they first started walking on the property. He was doing his what he thought was his job. You know,
Yeah.
so and when I was a kid, there was Baron. Baron was a big dog. He was 6'1" on his hind legs and 150 pounds, a solid German Shepherd. And this kid was cut through our property to go to the school's property, and I was out walking him, and Baron took off like like he just took off like a bolt of lightning. And I'm trying to hold this sucker back. Yeah, right. That did not work very well. And he tackled the kid, and my mom come running, and kid stood up, and when she got out there, he was as pale could be, and he probably pissed his pants, but nothing was wrong with him except for he had gotten a scratch, and because Baron didn't do nothing but basically knock him down, you know, and it was later on the kid's father called, and mom thought, oh boy, and the kid's father was like, nope, I told him not to cut across people's property, you know, and everything, and everything was good, you know, because the Baron saw this kid taller, bigger than me on our property, you know, so he was watching out for me, you know, so both instances with our shepherds, they weren't mean, nasty dogs. They were doing what they were supposed to do, you know. But Barrett had enough sense also that this kid, after he tackled him, wasn't going to hurt me. You know, otherwise, you know, he could have like gone a hog wild and totally like ripped this kid apart. You know, but after he knocked him down, he sensed that he wasn't a threat. You know.
I remember my Aunt Judy. She used to have a couple of Great Danes, um, and I think the one, its name was Angel, and she had to straighten its ears for a time because they were floppy ears instead of like straight like they were supposed to be. So she had to actually train its ears to be like up. But I remember it was very awkward, um, a very clumsy Great Dane.
Oh, like Marmaduke.
I was
Yeah,
going to
like
say like
Marmaduke.
Beethoven.
You like Marmaduke, yeah. Um, but
Like Beethoven.
let's see. Now,
But
Aunt Judy's Aunt Judy's latest that she has. I forget exactly what it is,
yeah, I
but
don't know what it is either, but it's an it.
it's Nick.
I actually
It's
have a dog story too.
it.
My friend Kenny had a German Shepherd named Black Lotus, and the dog was actually very friendly to me. I got along with it great, but sometimes me and my friend would, like wrestle or play fight. And as soon as we did, if Black Lotus was there, she would just growl at me and look at me like, "Step the fuck back." She doesn't realize we were playing, but it's like she was very friendly to me and very like, "You're part of us," except when she thought I might be endangering my friend. Then it was like, okay, I like you, but step back. So I really like that dog. She was very loyal and very, like I said, she was accepting to a point. But as soon as she thought that, I might be stepping out of bounds, she was right there.
Well, Baron was so protective of my mom that when she got with Jerry, um, he would Baron would lay in the threshold of my mom's bedroom, and you had to walk past it to go to the bathroom. And when Jerry would walk past it to go to the bedroom, Baron would just stare at him like, "You're not going in this room. This is her room. You're not," you know. He would give him like the evil eye that this is not, you can't go in there. That's my mom's room, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, we gotta get back to the movie here, guys.
Yep.
Uh,
So we are to the point where he's had to say goodbye to Rumbo, and he's followed his wife and son home, and uh he even like goes around to the back, and he gives he rolls on his back and gives them the cute puppy look, finally, eventually, the mother ends up allowing him inside, and he the kid kind of whines to her, "Can he stay? Stay? Can he please?" And she's like, "All right, for one night."
One
But
condition: he needs a bathroom, right?
yes, and evidently there's actually some time that he spends here before the boyfriend shows up. So
I don't
you
think he's quite a boyfriend yet. I think that kiss we saw was the first one. It felt like it was.
okay?
Whew.
Well, regardless, it seems like Fluke has some time here where he bonds with mother and son again.
Oh,
You
don't forget the hat. He was wearing. He was
Yeah,
wearing.
he goes and wears the hat for her, but he also hides the Star Trek toys from the kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He hides
Hey,
Data.
I
And
actually
he
said that before they said it in the movies because I knew who it was.
and he looks at that ring and tries to get her attention because he's staring at that ring
Yeah,
and
and she
he's
puts it
remembering
on,
the
and he's still
ring.
staring. He's like nudging it and stuff.
But you guys got any comments about this so far?
Yeah, it was really cool how he could reenact those things he was doing as a human, and yeah, like he was trying to show them who he really is, but it was no matter what he did, they wouldn't think he is Tom, since they think they live in a world where things like that don't happen.
Yeah, he's trying very, very, very hard, and I think the mother is, she's thinking, she's picking up on some of the things, but she's just thinking that he is a strange dog. Like she even says, "What'd you do? Escape from the circus?" You know,
Yeah.
because of the things that he does, and um, but yes, we get, you know, everybody's bonding with Fluke very much, and um, we get to the point where Jeffrey shows up for the first time, and Fluke has it in his head that Jeffrey is the bad guy, that he caused the accident at the very beginning of the movie, and that he's the bad guy. And as soon as he sees him, he attacks him.
And I assumed he was a bad guy too.
Yeah, actually, I must say, even though during this second watch I did know he was going to turn out to be a good guy, but I had forgotten what the story actually was. So, uh, uh,
Spoiler alert!
yeah, well, okay, I wasn't really going to spoil much, but I was going to say, since I cannot remember the details of the backstory of Tom and Jeff, I still kind of disliked Jeff, in spite of knowing he wasn't going to turn out to be bad in the
Well,
end.
they haven't exactly shown Jeff in a good light as of yet. So when it comes, it is a surprise.
Right, because we're
Yeah,
seeing everything from Fluke slash Tom's point of view, you know, up until
yes.
now.
And as far as we know, he caused the accident and all that
No,
jazz.
he didn't.
And now he's just moving in on his wife.
He didn't cause the accident.
Well, no, as far as we know, up until this point, it has
No, the
not been
beginning of the
revealed
movie
yet.
shows that he was on the wrong side of the road and he didn't slow down and he didn't move over. That was completely his fault.
But that's not how Tom slash Fluke sees it.
No.
So,
Right. But, you know, again, I thought Jeff was the bad guy, but I didn't. He maybe, he didn't slow down, but, he didn't like force him off the road or anything. Like he didn't do it. Like it was totally Tom's fault. So and we see that right in the beginning of the movie.
Could have been or couldn't. To me, I couldn't tell whether he pushed him off the road or whether he drove off the road.
Yeah, but
That wasn't clear to me.
okay.
I don't know how it was clear to you either.
Because
He was on
very
the, he
clear.
was
I don't know
Bill
what to
is right.
say.
He was on the wrong side of the road, and
You drive on the wrong side of the road, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah, but because it was flashbacking so much, I couldn't tell whether he had pushed him off or whether he had driven off.
he had driven
Was
off
not
because
clear.
instead of slowing
It
up
was
and
very
going
clear.
behind, instead of slowing up and going behind Jeff, he swerved to miss that truck. Because he swerved to miss the truck that he was in the same lane as the truck on the wrong side of the road. That's how he went off the road.
Okay,
I mean,
but
later we see that
they
Jeff
made it look
said,
like
"You're gonna get us both
he drove him
killed."
off the road. They made it look like it could have been his fault.
No, they didn't.
Well, I would say maybe the very moment of the accident was his fault, but we didn't know how exactly Jeff was involved and what he may have done to bring them in that situation to
No,
begin
I
with.
agree. I mean, I thought Jeff had done something, but I still, at the moment of actual death, it was Tom's fault. So I didn't know what Jeff had done, and I was anxious to find out. But yeah,
So, anyways, after this, uh, the animal control tries to look for him, and then it's raining, and um, Fluke is brought inside, anyways. But we see um, we see Jeff and the I always forget her name.
Oh, that would be Mrs. Johnson.
Yeah, they're having a
Carol.
Yeah,
they're
Carol.
having a big conversation about Fluke, and she can't understand why he acted that way and everything, and they're talking about Tom and how much they both miss Tom and everything. And Fluke is hearing all of this, but he's still not convinced.
Correct.
So the next day, Fluke goes to where they worked, and I don't know how this dog manages to get in the building and everything else. And
Good question, actually.
yeah.
And
I was
he's able
actually
to sneak
comparing
up.
this movie to Ghost in my head because I'm like, so it's like Ghost. It's like the partner's the one that killed him, and it was like that thing, and it turns out it wasn't. But that's what I thought they were doing. I thought they were doing like a ghost thing, only instead of it being a ghost, he reincarnated into a dog.
But he ends up getting into his office, and he has a couple more flashbacks. And it turns out that Jeff was actually his partner since like college, almost. In fact, uh, they're trying to put this new brake system through, and well, he comes up with this cool idea for a break, and puts it on a pedestal there for him to see, and he's Thomas is just not hearing him, and he thinks that it's not going to be cost effective and all that jazz, you know.
Yeah, that's
And
why I started thinking Jeff doesn't seem like a bad guy right there.
no, he does not.
Yeah.
I was like, I agree with Jeff. Like, John, that Tom was being an ass and being uncaring and stuff.
And his secretary even came in and said, "Remember, you've got uh,
A dinner.
dinner plans with your wife tonight." or whatnot.
Oh,
Or
and tell her I can't make it.
yep. And I think Jeff actually mentions that he puts work first over his family. And
Oh, he said, Tom says, leave that. He says, you have a lovely, a great family, lovely wife, and beautiful son. And Tom goes, leave them out of it. And Jeff goes, like you do. Like that was like a bam stinger. That was like, wow. I was like,
well,
damn.
he throws
Uh,
he throws his project at him, and
No, he threw it at the wall.
he threw it at the
uh,
wall, and that's when he walked out, I think. And
Right.
Jeff walks out, and
uh,
Tom's
and
like, we're not done talking.
that was also a spudam.
It was. Well, actually, they argue for a second. He's like, as blah blah blah, head of blah blah blah. I say we're not doing it. He's like, well, as their partner and the head of this, I say we are, and and then he walks out.
And that's when we get the flash. That's when we get the phone call that little boy is missing because he's looking for Fluke, and it's nasty weather outside. So Jeff goes to leave to go help look for him, and that's when we get the Fluke is in the car and attacks Jeff, and they have an accident. And while Fluke is laying there injured because in the spudal he went flying through the windshield and is laying there and reminiscing about everything. And that's when Fluke realizes that Jeff isn't the bad guy. You get to see the whole rest of the flashback and really realize that Jeff is not the bad guy.
in fact, he was the bad guy, in a sense, because he was kind of stepping out on his wife by doing work and no play kind of thing, So,
And
uh,
that's when Jeff to go tells him to go find the little boy because he needs him.
yep.
And
Yeah.
And so he does, and he finds him at the cemetery where his
Tom is
father
buried.
was buried. And I believe that's when we get the moment where his mother looks at this picture that the kid has drawn, and she's like, "I know where he is." And when she gets there, the place is all locked up. She rams the gate through and finds,
Spudam.
yep, another Spudao, finds him, puts him in the car, but the kid tells her a story that while he was like dreaming, he dreamed that Fluke was telling him he was going to go away, and that's when um, she goes up to Fluke and tries to get Fluke to come home with them, and he uncovers the gravestone, which says uh, Thomas Johnson, something about forever.
I think it says you will be in our hearts forever or something like that.
But he was always saying to her, like they said together, like forever, and like when he proposed to her and everything. So
Yep, and he takes a bow, basically, and keeps looking at her. And I think by the end there, she realizes that he might just have been her husband looking over them. I
you
think, and then he runs into some field, lays down underneath a tree, and suddenly he gets a bunch of nuts knocked his way. Uh,
Well, before wait. He leaves though because he realizes he needs to leave and let them live their life.
yep,
Now he goes to the tree.
yep, and he gets a couple of nuts knocked at him, and he's like, "What the hell?" And then you hear, "Rise and shine, squirt."
That was a nice touch.
Let me tell you what it's
Did you
like.
think you're gonna get rid of me that easy?
Let me tell you what
what
it's like to be a squirrel.
rule
Rule
number.
number one.
Yeah, I think that surprised me the first time I watched the movie.
It surprised me too the first time. I was like, "Well, that's a cute touch at the end."
Yep,
Yeah.
he turned into Scrat. But
So,
anyways,
did you guys have anything else to say now that we got come to the end? Any other
Ooh,
comments?
I think ultimately it's a cute movie. I mean, it's one of those ones that no matter who you are or how you feel about dogs, you're gonna like this movie. So, and I think it's one that doesn't get old each time you watch it. What about you?
I
ooh,
think it's got a nice. I think it's got a nice thing to it because it kind of says things aren't always as they seem in so many perspectives. You know, um, Fluke slash Tom. You know, it took him a while to realize things aren't always as they seem. It's he because he thought that Jeff was the bad guy, and you realize later it wasn't. And also, maybe animals aren't always as they seem either. It's just it makes you think about lots of things. It's got like a nice moral in a way to it.
It does.
ooh, yeah.
I mean, it makes
Maybe.
you think like, what if there was an afterlife? If like we died, there is a place for us to go. So it's a possibility
Yeah,
that
it's
you
called
could end up.
reincarnation.
It could. It's a possibility that you could end up as a walrus in another life with big ass balls.
I
You never
believe in
know.
reincarnation.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
Yes, I believe in reincarnation.
Crow, in your next life, you're going to be a pigeon.
That's okay. You're a pigeon in this life.
you're
Bug.
you're a pigeon in
Yeah,
this life and
yeah,
the next.
I'm
yeah.
gonna shit on you. I'm gonna shit on your head. Philip.
You got you got what I was aiming at.
Hey, if he's going to be a pigeon, Boris, you're going to be a stool pigeon.
David, you're gonna be a pig.
I was gonna say Dave's gonna be named. Wait, he already is.
Oh my.
I'm not going to be a pig.
A big sow.
He already is.
Wait,
No,
isn't sow specifically a female pig?
yeah, but
Well, that's the thing. When you get
I'm not going to
reincarnated, you
be a
don't
female
necessarily
pig.
stay the same gender.
All
That was a
right.
funny scene actually when the guy calls the little puppy coming out like lovely or whatever. But he said
Hi,
he's calling
Tammy.
me a girl. Well, he was
In your
meant to say,
next life, in your next life, you're going to be a hippo.
I don't think so.
You're
Yeah,
going
well,
to
you
be a
know what?
hippo.
Hippos are mean and they eat anything, which means I'll come and eat your ass.
yeah, hippos are badass. Don't fuck with a hippo,
They are
man.
supposedly the most dangerous animals on the planet. Supposedly.
Yeah,
Exactly. They may be
yep.
fat asses, but they're badass fat asses.
So keep that in mind. You just made me the most dangerous animal on the planet. You better run.
Better
except
run,
you're
you hairy ass.
except you're a vegetarian.
Not.
I'm a vegetarian
Vegetarian
too.
hippo.
All the meat I eat was fed on grass.
I like my bacon.
Oh, damn, she's gonna cook Dave and eat him.
Oh snap! Oh snap! But in any
All right.
case,
Well, we're running a little short on time here, guys. We got to finish this up.
yep. Well, let's
Oh,
go into
true.
let's go into production here. Tammy, what did you think about production?
I thought it was great. I mean, because I like movies where there's not CGI and all kinds of stuff. So I like things that are real. And I don't see anything in this that was off the wall or anything like that. You know I like the animals. Yeah, the animals in here were, especially Fluke, were very well trained, and I think everybody did a really good job. And I've watched lots of behind the scenes things with animals, and that animals and kids, they always say, are the hardest to work with. But you know, the dog that they had for Fluke, which we found out his name was Buddy, was definitely a very well trained dog, and I think he did exceptional. And I think his human counterparts did a very good job in this movie. So, the scenery, the places, the everything that was going on, I think they did a really good job of portraying everything.
Okay. What did you? And because you have to go soon, as I'm going to ask you about music and your favorite scenes, and then we'll go into everybody else's. So, what did you think about the music?
I think they
It
did a
was
good job. I
composed
mean, you could,
by the same guy who did the music behind the remake of The Punisher.
I think he did a good job. I mean, you could always tell when there was something going on with Fluke because it had like that same kind of music theme coming up. And I think the music went well with it. Um, Favorite character, of course, was Fluke. Favorite scene, there's just way too many. There's way, way, way too many.
Okay, can I ask a question? Was it the music for the Punisher movie, or you talk about the awesome TV show?
I'm not talking about the TV show because
Okay.
there were two movies.
I know
There,
there were two movies. I'm just asking if it was the other movie. I know the
it was,
first one was Dolph Lundgren.
yeah,
Second one
it
was
wasn't the Dolph Lundgren
Ian Griffith, I think.
one. It was the one with what's his name from The Mist.
Never saw that.
Who?
Yes, we did.
Weren't
I
we
never saw it.
discussing that one?
I can show you the episode that you were on. But
The Stephen King movie.
You're gonna have to show it to me because I don't remember watching it. And I like Stephen King, so
The one with monsters jumping out of the fog, and it ended with the main character. Spoiler alert
I was
for
gonna say
everyone.
spoiler.
Uh, so you don't want me to tell you because we did discuss that movie.
I was gonna say, you know what? It does sound familiar, so maybe I did watch it.
Okay, so yeah, I can't really pick an exact scene because there was just so many that I really enjoyed. So
okay, let's head over to you, Kroll. What did you think about production?
I thought the production was, fine. I mean, like she said, there was no awesome CGI or any great special effects, which I absolutely love. But obviously, this movie didn't need any of that because it would be out of place and weird if it did. So, yeah, it was good for the type of movie that it was.
Okay, and what did you think about the music and favorite scenes and or favorite characters?
It was music.
Okay, it is an answer.
And it's my answer a lot sometimes. Sometimes you just don't even pay attention to it. But the favorite scene is the chimpanzee, well, the monkey, whatever, chimpanzee saving the little puppy. Like the puppy's up there stuck, and the chimpanzee just saving it and then carrying it out the window and still carrying it, running away. That was just so awesome. And I have to say, my favorite character is the same chimpanzee because he's the real hero of the movie. Like, I was just, as much as I don't care for dogs, I mean, puppies are a little bit different. I know they grow up to be dogs, but you know, it's just, I was really heartwarming, and I do like the main character, of course, and of course, Samuel Jackson's dog was awesome too. But that chimpanzee was just badass. He just he figured out how they got up there. He grabbed the puppy. It was just like it was just like it was his brother. Even though different animals, whatever. But that monkey made sure to take care of the puppy
We
and
leave none behind.
and it was such a great, adorable scene that as much as there were a lot of great scenes, and Samuel Jackson running busting through the window, was definitely another great scene, which was almost the same whole section there. So yeah, I'd have to say that whole area was probably the best part of the movie. And like I said, there's a lot of other parts too, but those were my favorite. So we got a spadao. And we got like, oh, that's awesome! Like, and cute, fucking awesome moment. And the chimpanzees are the fucking hero.
Heading over to you, Boris. What did you think about production, the music, and favorite scenes and/or favorite character?
Well, I pretty much agree with what has already been said. The production was really good. Yeah, the movie as it is, the story as it is, didn't really need any CGI or any big special effects, but it probably did require a lot of training the animals to do exactly what they were needed to do for this movie, and they really did an amazing job there, for sure.
Especially training the chimpanzee to carry a puppy,
Right?
and the puppy
Yeah,
not to jump out of his arms either. So that was pretty badass.
indeed. The music, I have to admit, I didn't notice much of it either.
Whoa, whoa, Mr. Music Lover. I mean, I love music too, but you love movie music.
It didn't really have any music. It had conducting music. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, so did
Really
Star Wars, but I could tell you, I can name, the second I hear that music, I know it's Star Wars. So
Okay, Star Wars is special when
true,
it comes to music.
true. And Superman, the first one, Superman the
Oh
movie. And
yeah, they
well,
have kind of similar music.
it's the same. It's the same composer.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah, he did Star Wars and he did Superman the movie. I did Superman the movie on here, didn't I?
Yeah, we did both 1 and 2, I believe.
No, I only did one. Maybe you did two when before I joined. I don't know, but
Anyways, is that pretty much your viewpoints, or did you talk about your favorite scenes? Or
I haven't talked about my favorite scenes and favorite character. The favorite character would probably be Fluke. I mean, it's kind of difficult to choose anyone else, but I also. Okay, yeah, the
what the
chimpanzee.
fluke?
the miniature gorilla?
It's not a gorilla. It's a chimpanzee. Chimpanzees are smart. Gorillas
But
are like you.
uh, I also have to say I liked Brian quite a
I'm an
bit
orangutan.
because of.
Um,
Uh, uh, Sorry, what did you say?
I said I'm an orangutan. I don't know about you.
I'm a chimpanzee, motherfucker.
You're not that small.
Uh,
If you have to be some kind of monkey, be the chimpanzee. They're the smartest ones.
I'd rather be a siamang, to be honest, because I like those things with the bubbles that go, that come out in your neck, and they go whoop 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 whoop. That's
Uh,
a kind of a chimpanzee.
this almost sounded as if you were.
That's a baboon. And Dave, that's fitting.
Baboons have colorful butts.
I know that. You're a baboon. That's what they call Dave from now on.
But we have seen Dave's butt and it isn't multicolored.
That's no moon.
Uh-huh.
Why do you bring up horror stories like that, Philip? Oh no, he's gonna show us his moon again. What's that?
It's a band called Baboon.
Cool.
I didn't know you had a band.
I haven't even listened to it yet, so
You just produced it and wrote it and directed it?
no. This was from back in the day, like 90s.
Oh my God! Way back then.
But in any case, I just
I'm sorry,
thought
I
it
still
was
find it hard to
funny
believe
that
that
I
90s is
had a
considered back in the day. But I'm old, so you know. Hey, how come we haven't seen Philip on the camera today? Like, usually he's the only one on today. Today I'm the only one who's been on.
Yeah, last time and this time I wasn't using the camera much because I'm having some technical issues with my internet connection. I think when my camera is off, I send less traffic out and therefore I have less
sense.
glitches and stuff. Sorry,
So
what?
I would say that you're just probably there sitting there dressed, but if you were, you'd actually show us. So you know.
I'm
Even
not
if we don't
sitting in
want to
a.
see it.
I really didn't notice. I really didn't notice any music myself, so I'll
Wow.
forgo the music.
That's weird. Like Dave and Philip, like totally like whoa.
But I think the production was fine. I don't think it really needed all that kind of CGI. The only CGI that ishness that I saw, which I'm not even sure if it was CGI, was when it showed like the incarnation transition, like that spirally cloudy shit.
Yeah, I mean it was a little bit of touch up special effects, but
Yeah.
it probably wasn't I mean CGI is more expensive, so you know.
Not to interrupt you, David, but hey guys, I gotta go. It was fun.
Oh.
I will catch you next week.
Yep.
I'm glad you enjoyed the movie.
Well, what are we saying next week?
Oh, we are seeing, since it's my turn, we are going to be watching Hackers.
Hackers?
Yes.
Hackers from
Hackers.
Like a not a horror movie, like not a be terrible movie, like something I might want to see. Hackers.
Yeah, like something you might want to see. It's like what of the early '90s. This was like the best computer.
1995 also.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Bye.
Bye, Sammy. See you.
I don't think I've seen it, but it's definitely one that interests me. So cool.
I want to get that one out of the way because it's one of my favorite computer hacking movies.
Is it with Angelina Jolie?
The computers in there are definitely have aged, but it's still fun. So, but
interesting.
Hey, I've aged too, and I'm still fun.
We'll see about that, Buster. But anyways, my favorite characters are Fluke and Rumbo. I did enjoy that chimp moment.
I was gonna say no love for the chimp.
I did enjoy that chimp moment. That was cute.
It was.
But I enjoyed the Great
hero.
Escape. I enjoyed the Great Escape in the very beginning. That was fun because even though I know it wasn't this movie, it kept thinking the part in Homeward Bound when
I'd call the Great Escape was when all the animals got out at the
well,
in
no,
the
not all the animals.
Yeah.
it was more of a it was more of I mean it was an escape, but it was only him.
Yeah, it was only him. The Great Escape was only him, but it was funny because
Oh, it was
he
definitely
ran
funny.
outside of Tubbo's range.
When he pissed on the guard, I was like, and I was like, go 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 with the puppy too. I was like, go go go.
I did
Yeah.
enjoy the second Great Escape with all the animals escaping. Um, and I did enjoy the twist. You know, it's
When he slid across the floor too.
yeah.
When it was all wet and he's like he slid across.
I mean, I enjoyed many small moments in this, so it's hard to pick just like one favorable moment for me. It's just enjoyable overall. So
Mm.
at the end of the day,
When
did anyone
Rambo dies, no, I'm just kidding.
have
Just
anything
kidding.
else to say? Did anyone else
Well,
go ahead?
yes, I actually didn't end up saying my favorite scenes.
Oh, go ahead.
I was also going to say my second favorite character would probably be Brian. We didn't really speak about him much, but I really liked how he stayed loyal to Fluke even after the incident with Jeff, and how he secretly brought him back inside the house and went searching for him later on, and all that.
Oh, he's just a silly human. No, Brian.
Okay.
You're right. Brian was very loyal to the dog too, which a lot of times they show that little boys are and stuff. So it was kind of typical of these movies. So
Mm, yeah. And my favorite scenes. I would definitely have to choose all the Spudao moments, and yeah, definitely the animals getting released, the chimp moment, the pissing on the Guardian. What else? Uh, I also liked when the twist about Jeff was revealed. That was a really strong moment of the movie.
was
And Rambo's comeback as a squirrel was also great.
yeah,
Yes,
that security guard.
Squirt.
I think he deserved some karma, maybe even more than Ron Perlman's version, because Ron Perlman was a bad guy at least for greed. Like he had a reason to be a bad guy, not a good reason, but he had a reason. Like the guard was just a douchebag. He was just gonna kill the puppy for no reason, you know. So
Yeah.
I think he was even worse.
Oh,
Oh, I could agree
guard
with that.
beginning. The guard in the very beginning.
Yeah, the one that got pissed on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It was,
although at
it
least
was,
he didn't end up killing anyone.
well, he
Well,
probably did kill out some dogs, just not the main character,
Um, yeah, true.
because there was still a bunch of dogs in
unfortunately,
that kennel,
I don't
and
think it's. Unfortunately, it's not the guard's fault. Unfortunately, that
no,
it's his job
and
to do
no,
that kind of thing.
he was evil about it. He was like, you're gonna get yours, and you're putting this like he was gleefully talking about it. So you can't just say, oh, he was just a guard, he was just doing his job. No, he was enjoying his work.
Uh, yeah, you could say that.
He was enjoying his work, so no, no sympathy if he got no sympathy when he got peed on, and no sympathy for anything else that should happen to him.
Uh,
And this is coming from a non-dog
so
lover, okay?
on
So
on that note, hopefully you have enjoyed our discussion on this film. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you have not. Definitely go out and see the movie if you have not. It is a cute movie. We even got a dog hater to love this movie. So,
Good
well,
point.
if not love it, at least like it. So, um,
It was enjoyable.
it definitely was enjoyable. So let us know down in the comments what you think about the film, what you thought about our thoughts, and we'll see you next time uh, on Delusions of Grandeur. Everyone, say good night.
Good
Good
day.
night.
I say good day.